Hey Queens, I'm Bailey. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to be doing the part 2 of my eyeshadow palette inventory, where I go over all of my ColourPop palettes and the palettes I have gotten through BoxyCharm. So let's go ahead and get started. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, everyone hit that like button because it would help you girl out. Let's do this. I'm going to quickly go over my ColourPop palettes because honestly I have gone over all of them in my ranking my ColourPop palettes, but I think there's one new one. I'm pretty sure there's one that wasn't in that video. Well, it might be actually 5. I don't think I included these other palettes because I had just gotten them, but whatever. First up is the Honey palette, which is the iconic monochromatic yellow palette. I recently used this palette in a random generator picks my makeup video, so I'm not going to go crazy into detail about this palette because I just did. I have the Disney Frozen 2 Elsa palette. Stunning, beautiful. I need to reach for this palette more often because I honestly I love it so much. I really do. The Little Ray of Sunshine palette. This is a basic Bailey palette. Like, any palette that looks like this, I mean, I probably own because they are my favorite color stories. And I don't need any more like that, but I will probably buy more like that. This is just my bread and butter right here. My bread and butter. I have the ColourPop Hello Kitty and Friends palette. This was their holiday palette, and this is probably my least favorite ColourPop palette that I've used. I need to use it more to get a better feel for it, but so far it's just not a fave. Speaking of Hello Kitty, I have 4 more of these. I think these did not make it in my ranking video because I had just gotten them. So there is the Pineapple Cake. This is a cute little yellow palette. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. And you're thinking, Bailey, why did you need that? You have the Honey palette. Yes, but they're also like kind of different. Okay, they're not really different, but I love Hello Kitty. This was the first ColourPop palette that I had ever bought, and Hello Kitty is just, I mean, I love Hello Kitty. I have a ton of Hello Kitty like things, and I don't know what it is. I really like her, and so I just can't help it when they come out with stuff with Hello Kitty. So then there's also the Cocoa Cutie. This is the blue palette, probably my least favorite one, just because I'm not a big fan of blue eyeshadows. Then we have the Cherry Sweet, which I think this palette is so cute. I love this palette. You can do quite a few things with this quad actually, and I love that you can either just use these 2 shades together or just these 2 shades together, or you can try and combine them all, and I really like that one. And then the last one is Teeny Keeny, which is the orange one. Kind of the same sort of situation as the pink one. I think this palette's pretty decent. I actually think I've only used 1 shade in this one. Yikes. I need to do something with rotating my eyeshadow palettes because a girl is not getting use out of them. Then I have my Star Wars Mandalorian palette. This is the Child palette. So cute. I love this palette. I've used it quite a few times. This one you see in my background all the time. It's the ColourPop Sailor Moon palette. I love Sailor Moon so much. This packaging is too cute. Like, I love it so much. And, you know, the color story isn't quite the best, probably what I would pick for Sailor Moon, but I do really like it, and I love using this palette. I need to use it more because it just sits up in my background all the time. Then I have the At Forest Sight Raw Beauty Christie palette. I adore this palette. I have multiple palettes with this sort of color story. So yeah, it's not a surprise that I like this one. Same goes to this one. I think this one's sort of similar to the Raw Beauty Christie one. This is the Hocus Pocus palette, if you couldn't tell by the witches on there. I really love this palette, and I specifically really love this row and this row. The in-between, they're good, they're great. but there is just something about these shades on the side that I obsess over, and I don't know why. I cannot tell you. Then the Fade into Hue palette. This is absolutely perfect. I love this palette. I really do. I've used it quite a bit, and there's quite a few shades with decent dips in them. I do wish that I have used it more, and I feel that way about all my palettes, I think. Then last ColourPop palette I have, which is the newest edition that I have, is the It's a Mood palette. And I mean, are we surprised that I bought this palette? I think this is very similar to other ones that I have shown. It's stunning. It's beautiful. I've used it probably 2 or 3 times. I need to use it some more. I know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I kind of think I should do like a rotating project with my eyeshadow palettes and trying to incorporate them into my everyday. I don't know. I need to do that, but I don't know. Moving on to palettes that I have gotten through my BoxyCharm subscription, starting off with the Zoeva Premier palette. When I got this, I was really bored by it, okay? And I'm bored by a lot of their eyeshadow palettes, but the formula is really nice, and I really love using this palette. I would like to try more from Zoeva, but their color stories are just boring, which is so sad. Here's a palette that really surprised me. This is the Ciate London, the Velvet palette, and I didn't think I would like this as much as I do. The mattes are pretty decent. I don't know, I still need to work with them because I haven't used them that much, but the shimmers are absolutely stunning, and it's not something I would expect from Ciate London. I've heard good reviews about some of their palettes and bad reviews of others, and so I don't know, I'm really shook by that one. I have the Lime Crime Venus 3 palette, and I don't like this as much as I thought I would, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I need to incorporate it into my everyday routine, kind of get a feel for the different formulas in here and the different colors. But I don't know, it's just not a fave. It is not a fave. One that is kind of a fave, and there are mixed reviews on this, but this is the Violet Voss My Holy Grail palette. Some people really don't like this palette, but I do. And I think you can tell since I have 3 pans in here and a lot of dips. Like, I do really like this palette. I don't know how other people don't. I don't think the Violet Voss formula is terrible, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But I also have this Violet Voss palette, which is the Essentials palette. And this was something, again, I was very bored by, but I do really like it. I can make a lot of cohesive looks with it. I enjoy it. There are a lot of dips in this palette. You can tell that I enjoy this palette. It's a good palette. Next are eyeshadow palettes that I was very excited to get in my subscription box, but unpopular opinion, I don't think I really like the formula of Natasha Denona shadows. First of all, the color story of the Jubilee palette, dog. It is awful. I hate it. This yellow shimmer, the worst thing I've ever tried on the planet. Anyways, doesn't matter. This one, the mattes aren't bad. I don't hate them, but this shimmer, it just kind of looks weird on top of things. I don't know how I feel about it. Again, I need to use my palettes more, but anyways, I have 5 Ace Beauté palettes. 5. I love Ace Beauté. There's one palette that I don't necessarily love, and that's the Grandiose palette. This is a color story that I really do like, but I don't feel like the formula on this one was the best. This might have been one of their older palettes that they had created. And it's not my favorite, but it's definitely one that I still do enjoy and like having. I could see myself easily putting this in my project pan and easily getting through it. It's a nice, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite. Then I have, this is, I think, the newest one that I have. This is the Pt2 Falling For You palette. I recently got this in November, I think. And I want to say that this is their newest formula. They just reformulated everything. And I've used it a handful of times. This green, everything, okay, everything. I love this palette. It is so cute. I, again, would love to use it some more to get a better feel for it, but we know how that's going for me. Then these two are, I think they came out at like the same time. This is the Vintage Dawn palette. Honestly, this could potentially be my least favorite. I don't know. I keep trying it. And I do like the shimmers in here, but some of the mattes are not that great. Like this green, I'm probably just gonna get rid of. I don't really like it. They're really hard to use. Yeah, that one's kind of a struggle for me. And I don't exactly feel the same way with this one. I also haven't used it a ton, so I don't really know. Like, oh, I hate this about my collection, is that I don't really know my collection. So this is the Scarlet Dust palette. It is very pretty, very beautiful. I would very muchly love to use that palette some more. I think the problem is now that I'm project panning and I'm like focusing on different eyeshadows and stuff, it's much harder to use up some of my other palettes. So again, I need to create a rotating eyeshadow palette project or something. Then the last one I have is the Pt2 Nostalgia palette. Now this one I think is of the older formula. I think it's the last one that was in the older formula. It's okay. I think it's not that bad. The purples, actually, I tried these out because I wanted to see if the purples were good, because purples are hard to formulate. They're not that bad. I don't hate them. Again, I think I've only used this a handful of times, and each time I use the purples, so yeah. This one's newer to my collection as well. This is the Pt2 Venus palette. I saw this and I was like, girl, please, this is not my type of palette. First of all, I hate the layout. The layout is not for me. But then I touched this shade right here, and it is buttery, and it is interesting. I still haven't used it on my eye. I will 100% admit that. I have not used it on my eye. What I have used is this, like, I don't know how to describe this shade. This is like a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow. Look at that. It feels like a cream, and I really like it. It's really cool. I've also used this. This is really cool. This is a lovely transition shade, and I don't remember if I've used this. That one is a topper. I don't think I've used that one. I would love to use this some more. Girl, how many times am I gonna say I need to use my eyeshadow palettes more? How many times? This is the last palette I'm gonna be talking about. I think this is literally it. This is my Morphe Happy Hour palette. This will end up in a project pan sometime in the future because I do not support Morphe anymore. But I do really like this palette. I feel like this is a decent formula for them. I have tried some of their other palettes. I think there was like one or two that I tried and I was like, I don't know what y'all did, but this was not it. That one's pretty good, and the two Jaclyn Hill, like the bigger palettes, are really good. Other than that, I'm like, nope, nope. But anyways, altogether, I have 52 eyeshadow palettes. 52. And I'm hardly using any of them. Which really sucks. So, upon just like, I'm just self-reflecting right now, okay, and realizing how much I use all of my eyeshadow palettes. I have been putting a complimentary palette with my Pan That palette, but I've been using the same one for 3 months, and I'm wondering if I should just do this thing where I do a palette a week, or maybe a palette every 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that because I'm kind of upset that I don't really have a good grasp on my collection. I know what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep, like in terms of what I'll eventually put in a project pan, but I also I'm not really familiar with a lot of my palettes, so yeah, I'm feeling some type of way about my eyeshadow palette collection, but I do plan on bringing up some more inventory videos. My lipstick collection has changed a lot. It has dwindled down a lot. I still have a lot, and there's still a lot that I don't really like. I need to find lip products that I thoroughly enjoy. That's my problem, is I don't have... Anyways, before I go on that tangent, oh my god, there will be more inventory videos coming for you if you enjoy those. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I have rambled on too much, so don't forget to hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, everyone hit that like button because it would help your girl out. You guys have a good one now. Bye-bye!